Welcome to Running on Ice, the coolest community in freight. I'm your host, Mary O'Connell, bringing you the latest tech updates, warehouse news, and everything happening in the cold chain world. Not only is it the coolest show in freight, but there's also Running on Ice, the newsletter that could not be colder. You can subscribe to that on freightwaves.com/runningonIce. Today, we welcome Per Magna, CEO of SurfAct. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
I'm very excited about today. We get to talk about one of the arguably the cooler innovations for today that's happening in the world today. Before we get too far into that, though, let's get some background on you and kind of why you started SurfAct.
How far back should we go? Is it how long time do we got? No, I'm sorry. I grew up in the military, so my background is mostly military. I started off as a explosive ordnance, a mine clearing guy, and then as you go up in rank, we of course deployed with some of NATO troops. Worked a lot with the Americans, but the bottom line is that I was in charge for all the infrastructure and logistic for the Norwegian forces in Afghanistan during our NATO mission there, together with your guys and a lot of other nations. And that is like 15 years ago now. But already back then, I was thinking about cargo. Why doesn't it talk to me? Where is it? What has happened to it? Because everything's around or relayed around the logistics. If you're gonna win a war, or even the fabric of any nation is the logistical stuff. So that's where the seed was planted about monitoring logistics, and especially cold chain logistics. So SurfAct didn't start back then, but it has been a thought that has been with me all since 2010, 15 years ago.
That's I think that there's a very special kind of person that really wants to know what's happening with their cargo, why it's on their way to them. Because like I'll be driving down the road and I'm like, oh, that's a refrigerated container. I wonder what's in there, or something like that. And every other person that I'm in the car with never is as excited about what could potentially be on trucks. Or if I'm like, oh, that one might be full or that one might be empty, because like you see the fishtail a little bit, and they're just like, we don't care. And I'm like, yeah, but it's so cool. So leave it to the person in charge of the logistics that's like, but what's actually happening with my cargo?
Yeah, that's one thing, and also, 15 years ago, that's one thing, but more and more stuff is transported, and more stuff is transported for longer distances because we produce things in different parts of the world, and a lot of the fresh food, everything from meat to ice cream to everything is or a lot of stuff is refrigerated as well. So I guess more people should care about it, but it's good that we care about it. That's the important part. Yeah.
Because like I just want to know when I go to the grocery store that my ice cream is good. I don't want, because I don't want that ice cream that's been melted and then like refrozen, because that's just never going to be good ice cream.
I think about the same thing when it comes to I love barbecuing and smoking meat and all that. So it's when you go to the store and you don't know, you're stuck with a piece of meat and you're kind of, okay, is it okay? Has it been, you don't know. And that's something that I think is it should be visible, even down to the consumer goods.
Exactly. So one of the new things that you guys have recently announced, I think it was maybe like a month or so ago, was your new IoT tracker, Emma. What was kind of the inspiration behind developing Emma, and why is it a little bit different than some of the other trailer tracking solutions that are on the market?
Well, it's like I said, I used to work within logistics, and even back then, 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, there was trackers on the market, not live trackers, but there was offline trackers, and you had different ways of extracting some of the data from the generators on the reefers and stuff like that. And before we started the SurfAct and developed Emma, we looked into this. We moved into some of the potential big clients and just asked them, and what's on the market, how do you use it, and so forth and so on. So we learned a lot of things, but mainly it was three things that divides us from the rest of the suppliers on the market. So the first one is that, as you can see, Emma is just it looks like a hockey puck, but she looks like this, and there is no switches, there is no display. So the first thing is that this is it's always on. So when we make it at the factory, of course, it's Norwegian and European made, but we'll come back to that. So then it's on. So even though when you get this and you use it, you put it in your truck or on your cargo, you don't need to do anything. It's actually always logging and always sending the data when it changes. So that was the first thing, that the handling part, and then the other thing was the battery life. A lot of the loggers are one-time use, or you have to charge them quite frequently. So this has a worry-free battery time of 2+ years. And the yeah, yeah, we put a lot of effort into that, and even though it's a 2-year battery lifetime on it, it's really easy to change the batteries when you need to. So it's just shelfware batteries that you could get at the gasoline station when time comes. But the third one was the data, how to retrieve the data. As you and I know, a lot of the reefers and the systems, you have to go into a shop to take it out, the USB loggers, you have other systems, the Bluetooth and all that. So this is on what we call long range, but it actually just works as a cellular phone, just like the iPhone that you have in your pocket. So it's always connected to the cellular network, so it can send and receive data without any infrastructure.
That is insanely impressive because that's like one of those it's just a tracking device that you can put inside like a label and you can like know where your product is in the middle of anywhere. But this is like way more this is like the grown up version of that. Like you can know where it is, what's happening around it, what the temperature is. That is actually really insanely cool. And the battery thing is something that I didn't even think about because you don't want your tracker failing like in the middle of a shipment. But if you don't have to worry about for every like 2 years, you could be proactive and like you could be proactive and charge them every 18 months and you'd still be like never within failure range.
And that's the whole idea, because uh, as we all know, when you work in logistics, handling stuff, extra stuff, you need to cable it, or you need to press it, or turn it on and turn the ranges on. So this is made smart in a lot of ways. And one thing is that it's always on, but the two-ways communication and what we call the edge computing, that the device itself thinks and knows when it's on the move. Yeah, start, stop, it sends data reports at the correct time. So it really, we built a lot of stuff into it that I think is very beneficiary for logistics. And like I said initially, the whole idea is to make your cargo talk. So this is our contribution to that. So if you have a Emma and put it in the cargo or in the reefer, then it's digital and online, and you're good to go.
You basically gave your cargo a phone. You said you wanted them to talk. You gave it a phone and said, "Here's what's going on."
You can, and you can talk the other way around also. So if you see that your truck is stolen or something has happened, you can actually, so yeah, it's a voice to your cargo, because yeah.
I really like that part, that you said that, like, so because it has that really long battery life, you don't have to worry about, like, if I'm a warehouse person and I'm loading my freight, I don't have to go, "Oh, let me go see what's charged," and I can do it. I can literally just, like, reach into the buckets to put it on and then just not have to deal with it. Because honestly, anything that's gonna help the warehouse be more efficient is a win in my opinion because that's where a lot of that time is that it kind of just gets sunk into it.
And you could have one on the reefer wall or one in the children freeze department, but just for instance, we sell a lot of the trackers to different countries, transporting for McDonald's, for instance, just as an example. And they actually put one of these on the chilled and the freezed merchandise that goes out to each restaurant. So they just take a device, put it on, and then the device feels okay. This is chilled or this is freezed, and then it sets the right left and right edges, for the cargo. And then the device knows when it started and when it stops at the restaurant, and automatically it starts the alarms, sets everything in play, and when it comes to the restaurant, it actually makes the reports, send it to the warehouse and also the client. So everything is what we call autopilot. So everything is automated. So that's one example of how you can use it when you have a always on device that talks both ways on yeah, like your phone.
That is insanely cool because it just like no like you don't have to worry about, "Oh, I don't want the temperatures from the last shipment. I just want it for this one," and it automatically knows. That is really cool.
They use the full automatic suite on this, but there is a QR code on it, so you could do it manually, and there's different range of usage of it, but that's one example that, like I said, McDonald's uses.
What out of curiosity, what is the coldest that Emma goes? Does she do like the ultra cold, like -60s, or does she just do like generic frozen?
Well, we are calibrated down to -70, but I don't think we have any clients that go below 30, 35, normal freezed goods. I guess some of the vaccines and stuff, but that's sub 70 also down to like, now I'm talking Celsius. Sorry, I
Yes.
should have
No.
calculated around,
Sorry, I
but
should have said when it's -60, it's -60 Celsius.
yeah, yeah, okay, okay. So it works down to like 70, but not down. Some of the vaccines, right? They are transported at more than 100, right?
Okay, that's fair. Because I feel like once you get into that ultra, ultra cold, you're dealing with a whole other situation and, like, a whole other mess of technology needs to be in it needs to be integrated there.
Yeah, and the batteries also, they don't thrive when it's sub 50. It's kind of a harsh environment. So I guess it's an all-round tracker device, but yeah, it has its limitations. But then again,
Just don't do the ultra cold with it. Got it. So when it comes to kind of managing a fleet and managing everything, why the cable free? Is it just for the ease of not getting caught up in everything, or is that something in your kind of research phase that you realized a lot of shippers and partners in the logistics space they just didn't want to deal with more cables and stuff like that? Is that what really drove that part of the design?
I guess it's twofolded. But like I said, we moved in early with some of our top clients or coming clients. So, and a lot of and this is also something that goes back to the GPS trailer tracking in the States. It's, when you have to have a truck coming into a shop, you have to cable it up. You have to, it's gone for a day. And this is kind of like you just put it on the wall and it's digital directly. So it was a design principle that we had with us from day one. We didn't know that it was fully possible, but here we are with a cable and wireless free tracker with the 2 years plus battery time, and you can just put it in your truck or your cargo, and it has a voice. So it's yeah, it's something that we thought about early on, and it's really neat that we made it happen.
I feel like once like you have battery life of 2 years, it doesn't like you just toss it in, it automatically knows like how to separate shipments. I think that's I feel like you can't really ask for more, you know? You can't really ask for more out of a tracker. It does everything and then some.
Yeah, or you could always ask for more, and down the line with all the data gathering, the AI, predictive stuff, and all that. So we could add on more features, but then again, we would yeah, we just like put it on, then you're live, and then you can work from there. Like I said, McDonald's, they do the autopilot stuff. You could do it simpler, but you have the data all the time, and then you can do whatever you want with it. And yeah, I think I'm glad you liked it. We think it's a good piece of hardware to put on the market, and yeah.
So when it comes to like getting the information out of Emma, so you have the location, the temperature data. And obviously, it wouldn't make sense for anyone to kind of tamper with the device because it's so locked in that hockey puck state. How do you get that information? So you said it's automatic where you can manually scan the QR code. Is there kind of like a user interface on the other end, or does it kind of integrate into whatever that customer is using?
Um, we do both. So it's we have our own front end that some of our clients use. Other clients they integrate into their own systems, and we also have third parties. We just made an integration with the Catena Clearing that do like this overhead API stuff for fleet managers, and we have others as well. So the whole idea is just to democratize the data. So if you want to put it in your own system or if you want to use our system, that's totally fine for us because we are all about that hyper local local data, and we know that there's a lot of fleet management, a lot of systems that people want to get their data to.
Okay, so it's just kind of a we'll make it work for you. Don't worry about anything more complex.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, and that's also the idea behind the business model. And I guess we'll talk about that later. But this is all inclusive, $1 a day. You just put it in your truck or on your cargo, and on you go. And the whole idea with that is when you don't need it anymore, or something happens or whatever, then you could just return it, and things are yeah, very easy to get online and very how should I put it? We don't want people to use something they don't need. So that's part of the offering as well.
I like that part. When it comes to like, so if I am if I'm a temperature controlled carrier and I said, you know what, I want to get some of these Emma devices. I want to kind of step up my game. What, how do you, excuse me, what does it look like to roll out this process? Is it like 6 months, a month, like a day or two? What does that look like? And is there like a huge cost investment up for it? Obviously, you have to buy the product, but like, what does that look like?
Well, first of all, the cost it's $1 a day, all inclusive. So there's no upfront hardware cost, no nothing. We just pay per use. Um, so if you turn around and order some units and get them in the mail some days later, you could actually onboard in a couple of days from you decide to order some until you get it in use. But then we have onboarding systems, videos, but it's really easy. Just get a user to our front page, and then you're online and you can start use it. But of course, if you're gonna integrate into your own systems, it's a bit further way to go. But you could like a one click shop kind of thing. You could just order and start to use it right away.
That is incredibly amazing because that's a kind of a way to test it out. Because a lot of those trackers, like, you can't necessarily like, you can get it, but then you have to, like, get through their system and kind of go through the whole cumbersome getting set up with them. But yours is basically just, like, take it, plug it in, or I guess don't plug it in, just go and then, and just start going, and that way you can figure out if it's what you're looking for, very quickly. And then from there, then that's when you can say, okay, well, we do want to integrate this. We don't want to log into this platform every single time. But you can still use the product as you're integrating, because you can still just go, excuse me, you can still go to the Surfact website and get all the information that you need while you're still integrating. It's not like you can use it for a couple months and then once you decide that you want to integrate with it, you have to then, um, you know, you have to then stop using it so you can finish your integration.
Yeah. No, it's totally fluent, so you could do both ways. And another part is that one thing is that it's like I said, 2 years battery time. It's made to last, but just to point out, it's really made to last. So it's what we call IP67. You can drive over it with your truck. It floats. It's really made rugged, and that's part of that is to make it last a very long time because like I said, it's always on. It has some really neat hardware and software inside. So it's not cheap to make, but it doesn't matter because it lasts for years on end. And then we could deliver it at $1 a day, and you can have that all inclusive. So that's kind of part of the thinking. And another part about leasing it out at $1 a day is also that when you don't use it anymore, you can send it back. And that's uh, I know, or we're not big on the environmental stuff, but it's made from recycled ocean plastic from our beaches, and also the hardware inside. We would like to recycle that as well because the mountain of e-waste is just staggering, and that's also part of what we're trying to show here, that you can make something that is recyclable, it's circular, you can make it better and cheaper, because a lot of people think, okay, it's so green, it's going to cost more, but actually this is better and cheaper. So that's part of the thinking about our product and offering as well.
I 1,000% love that. As a sustainability girly, anything that is just kind of taking waste from another stream and using it as to start another product, cannot love that enough. I cannot love that enough. Because you're right. That's the biggest thing. Anytime someone's like, oh, if I have to make a switch to something green or something more eco-friendly, there's a huge cost with it. And it's like, no, it's still the same.
Yeah, and I'm getting, I'm not old, but I'm getting older. So it's a lot of the stuff that I buy, it's all made in. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, but a lot of it is made in China. It's made cheap. It lasts for a little bit and then it's broken, and you can't fix it or you can't do anything about it. So this is uh, designed and developed in Norway. It's made in Norway. We take the plastic from our beaches. We put it together at Norwegian factories. It's made to last, just so it can be a good product at a decent price. But it's also made to be recycled, so you can just open it and take out the parts and on you go. So it's not that um, green is green, but green can be better also. But it's about making stuff that lasts and making it last a long time.
Okay, so we are running out of time today, and there's a question that we've asked a lot of people on the show. And Pear, you're no exemption today. And it could be arguably the hardest question of the day. And that is, if you could build a house out of any food, what would it be?
Any food, it's right now barbecue season is out there, but anyway, if I look at the whole year as a one, it's I'm a big baker, sourdough bread baker. So if I was to make a house out of food, it would actually be bread.
That's actually a very incredibly sturdy house. That would be like, I mean, it would have problems with rain, and maybe some snow, which might not be great for Norway, but I love that idea. Would you do like would you have like a different flavor sourdough with like different inclusions for each room? Or, yeah,
You might, and you could also do different, the rye bread, a bit darker, you could do the color palettes, and yeah, you can, yeah, I think
I like that.
that would be
That has the
great.
potential to be a very colorful house.
Hmm.
Hmm, I like that. All right. So if anyone has questions about, the best sourdough floor plans, or if they have any questions about how to kind of get Emma or anything else that you guys have going on, where can they find you outside the show?
Um, of course, our website, surfact.com. We're also big on LinkedIn, and I guess you'll post my contact information to my email and phone, and just pick it up, send us an email, and we'll go from there. It's like we said, it's really easy, cable free, and wireless. So it's just I was just gonna say plug and play, but it's not plug and play. It's just play, I guess.
Because it's more like unwrap and play.
It's yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
You can catch other episodes of Running on Ice right here on YouTube or anywhere else you get your podcasts like Apple Podcast and Spotify. Need more Running on Ice news? No sweat. Subscribe to the newsletter on freightwaves.com/runningonIce. See you on the internet.